Before I got on this call with you, I was talking to a brother about working systems, right? Because he was asking me about broken systems, and I said we're not dealing with broken systems, we're dealing with working systems, right? And the pathway towards, a better future is to create your own systems, right? We talk about getting out of the system. No, once you get out of something, you have to go into something. You have to go into your own system. The first pillar of this, because we talk about reparations, the first pillar of reparations is education to me. Oh, excuse me. Fixing the education gap, right? That we have. Because when you know what to do, you can do it, right? And then when you know what to do and you get the funds, there's nothing stopping you. Our issues is that we don't have any systems, right? So starting right now, like we talk about media, building media systems so that people can say, hey, when there's something that goes on in the world, I want to go to this source for my information. That becomes a funnel to real decisions you make in reality, right? So we need our own media system, right? Education system. We complain about DeSantos and him wanting to write history, and he want to basically, whitewash the hell out of everything. Things that don't even need to be whitewashed. He's just ready to whitewash everything. But that's because he controls the education system. So that means that, okay, we need a funnel for children to get our version of reality so that they can grow up and then they can pass on the ideas and build on things that we want. So media, education are the biggest pillars for me, right? Because media controls what we know, think, and see and believe about the world, right? And then education controls what we can do and how we can build our own world, right? So for me, if you can educate people out of poverty, right? You can educate people, out of the effects of racism. You can educate people on systems to how to deal with the system. So it's not like so much that I need to have rallies against the system. I just need to teach you how it works, right? When I use the analogy, if you go into a bank branch and you start complaining about the banking system, the manager can't do shit. Can't do nothing because that's a branch. That's not the root of the problem. The root is the system. If you talking about your body, you have an immune system. When one thing is not working, that's not the only issue. It's when multiple things not working, the system is not working, right? So for us, we have to get to a point where we're building media systems, EYL, high level media. These are very important, right? In the creating an ecosystem and having a system. And these things that need to be heavily funded to be backed as billion-dollar systems. I see Griot, I see Mark Lamont Hill breaking it down where he feels like his voice can be free and he can speak the way he wants to because he has a media channel, but he was fired from them other folks at first. But there's a black man that owns that, so he gives him the opportunity to be that voice, right? Without that, you don't get that voice at all, right? So we talk about creating systems so that we can have control over industries versus complaining about working systems. Y'all talked about that sister and the brother who bought that bank. We complained about that system when we would see whites buy black business and they become white owned. I always thought about the blueprint is in front of us. Why don't we just operate in the same way instead of complaining about working systems, right? There are so many different ways to, have remedies to take yourself out of systems, but you can do none of them without education.
Did you watch the Van Jones interview that we did?
I've seen clips. I didn't watch the whole
Very
thing yet.
insightful. If you get a chance, I highly suggest you
And
check it.
just one thing I want to say on that: what Jeff Bezos did for Van Jones was probably like, and I don't know, and from what I hear, there's no stipulations on the money. From what my tidbit of knowledge that I got on that, but it was one of the most revolutionary acts that I've ever seen. Right? Taking it because it's a novel idea. You're a billionaire or a decamillionaire, and you say that activist right there, I'm going to give him $100 million, no strings attached, for him to fight his fight. That's the unintended. I talked to my brother Ken about this. The unintended wealth group, right? This unattended wealth group is the people that operate in this new money matrix that make money off new disruptive technologies, industries that form, and all of a sudden their minds are now funded. Now, because their minds are funded, think about it. The crypto minds that got funded, the new tech minds that got funded, they can lobby now. You start to see their ideas in the world. You start to see things change. People dress in different ways. People don't realize it's because it's new money that is entered, and now they can fund their thoughts. So if somebody said early on, not that you all need it, but you know, it may be a time you want to take in billions. Rashad and Troy is doing is amazing. Hey, I'm a billionaire, at least got access to billions. What happens if we just give them some funds and see what they build, right? We don't have that because we don't have what's this thing called? Benefactors, right? In our community. So we don't see brilliance and then put funding behind it so that that brilliance can grow and develop. We don't do that. Our brilliance is bought by every other community. So you see a kid that has a Mensa score, and all of a sudden now they're working for a system. So for me, it's building systems, taking the working systems and have them work for us, knowing the systems and learning how to work within it, right? And I believe education frees us, but the problem is most of us don't know how to think.
Important. Well, it's important. It's important to you can never this. So that's why Van Jones situation, right? Because in Van Jones, one of the most insightful things that he said was that there's four corners of power in America. He said that there's political power in Washington D.C. and he said black people have actually doing good with the political power as far as there's a lot of black lawyers. 7, I believe, of the top 10 cities in America, population-wise, have black mayors. We had a black president. We were making a lot of inroads politically. But he said all of the other 3 corners of power is where we struggle. New York City, Wall Street, finance capital. He was like, very few black people, little power. Little power. We went to Wall Street. I think there was 2 black people on the street floor. Shout out to the Einstein of Wall Street. He took us to the Wall Street, like the actual trading floor. Two black. One was like just started. 2. So, literally 2. So he was like, finance is something that we underrepresented. And then another corner of power across the country, Silicon Valley tech. We know that we are very unproportional in tech, from tech startups to, and then the last corner of power was in LA, which is media, Hollywood, entertainment, right? As far as ownership, media ownership. He's like, we are represented in entertainment and media as far as personalities, but we have very few ownership at a high level, like a Tyler Perry, like a Oprah, or even higher than that, right? And that, so a lot of times people even criticizing them, like, well, what are you doing? You're just talking. Well, that's important because media is actually one of the most important parts of any society. And being able to educate people, inform people, and shape people's attention is actually vitally important. Right? And this is from him. This is his perspective, not just my perspective, because I'm in media. So being able to tell the story, being able to have a trusted voice, being able to educate people, being able to have positive propaganda, and being non-biased in a variety of different things, that's important. So I think that, you know, these are all areas that I think we all need levels of improvement, and different people need to do different things because everybody's gonna have a different skill set. Like you might be very good at tech and you might not know anything about investing, or you might be very good at investing and you can't be able to speak properly, so you're never gonna as a media, or you might have a media mind, right? But when you start to connect all the dots and now you start to work interconnective with each other, I think that that's important. So it's vitally important that the top work together. So the Robert Smith has to work with Tyler Perry, has to work with President Obama. Like now, once you get the top, now you start to really have a cohesive unit where we can actually move things forward, not just at the top, but on the ground level as well. But that's always important for people to fully understand. Focus on what's important, and you got to focus on what pays. Lil Wayne said that. That's a great bar. Focus on what pays. A lot of times in our community, we focus on things that aren't really vitally important, or they're not like moving the needle. Right? These are the things that technology, media, government, and finances. That's important. If we can start to focus on those things and climb up those ranks and work with each other in those fields, now we have some level of upward mobility.
Mm-hmm. This is a fact. And, you know, I think Dr. Claude Anderson did a good job at talking about that as well. And, you know, I think what we have to be is we have to be patient and thinking about the time it takes for us to have that power. And we've been fortunate enough that disruptive technologies have come and changed the landscape, which gave us even greater opportunities to grab hold of power, right? And so this is why I've always been a proponent of teaching technology, not pushing it, teaching it, because I always wanted people to be able to exploit the opportunities that come during these shifts, right? And so if social media and the internet didn't come, you can complain about it all you want to, but if it didn't come, we would have been able to take advantage of being able to start the media, right? Systems and industries that we now want to have ownership of, right? If we didn't have the ability to create courses online where we can educate people outside the education system, right? We can change the dynamics of information that flows through the household and skills that get developed. So we really have to appreciate the fact that we're living in one of the greatest times to create the change, right? And grab hold of the reins of power to have equity in this world and equalize the playing field. So I wholeheartedly am always thinking, and I stay up at night thinking about how to take advantage of this lucky time that I was born in. It's always going to be things that I don't like, but it's always beautiful things that's happening. One of my great quotes, if you pay attention to the devil too much, you starve God.
No, that's a fact. And I think that so it's important to like, so somebody had wrote in the comments, that sounds good, but black people are being boxed out of all different areas.
Box yourself in then.
Well, I can speak from my personal perspective. I can't speak from my personal perspective. We started a company with a cell phone with no startup budget, which in 5 years grows into a multi-million-dollar operation. We're able to do events large scale, 20,000 people at InvestFest, and connect with people in London and Toronto, go to Africa and be able to reach millions of people. 19 Keys has a shows where he reaches millions. He gets, this is more views than CNN gets. It's on par with cable television, right?
Say that again. What you say? What you say that again?
No, I'm saying this is more views than with CNN. That's a fact. Like this is
Yeah.
on par,
Yeah.
on par or more than cable television. So I'm not gonna say that worked for every single person, but well, that's what we did.
The
So
opportunity is there.
so what are you gonna do? Technology has empowered everybody, and like you said, it has leveled the playing field enough to compete. It's never gonna be a level playing field. You black in America. When it's sunny, you got to go outside with an umbrella because anything can happen if you're a black person. So it's never going to be a level playing field, but at least it's level for you to play.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if you never start playing, you never know how good you can be at the game.
If we're only going to make excuses, then it's a 100% chance of no improvement. That's a 100% chance of no improvement. If you never try and you only have excuses and you're only going to blame other people forever, then you have a 100% chance of doing nothing. I can't guarantee that you're going to be successful. I can't guarantee that you're going to be earning your leisure at 19 Keys. But if
you're not going to be.
If you try, you have an opportunity to be great. But if you don't try and you're a constant critic, then you have no opportunity at all. And you are 100% going to be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important.
I believe that you doing your part. I'm doing my part. Out of 45 million black people in America, I think we're doing a tremendous job. It's not our job to do everything. And once a person, what they do is they don't acknowledge what you're doing. They try to acknowledge what you're not doing. Right? It's always going to be more we're not doing than we're doing, because in the world of doing everything, you can only do what you can get done in a
That's a
day.
fact.
So I always look at that as a mute point. Like, of course, there's a lot of shit I'm not doing because I'm doing this. And in order to get good at this, when it didn't run in the family, I didn't have funding for it. Wasn't a skill set that was passed down. It's first generation self-education, right? That comes with trials, tribulations. It comes with mistakes. It comes with getting better. It comes with developing experience. It comes with learning. There's so much that comes along with it. These are new industries that we're learning on side of you all, and you all are able to take this journey with us to continue to learn, right? That's a very powerful thing to even be able to witness, right? To witness my brother up here, to witness me, and witness other peers of us that go out there and we're operating in this place of learning. It's completely different. It's the reason why out of billions of people on the planet, only a few start to get it done. So you have to figure out, all right, they're doing that. How can I add on to that or do something similar to complement what's being built out, right? This is how you become a part of a thing that becomes a system, right? So for me, a lot of people, you know, being able to look at the faults of others only allows you to be able to ignore your own faults. That's it. It's just the time you get to spend not focusing on self. I understand that. But what my brother's doing with EYL, what we done with high level media, high level conversations and things of that nature, all you can do is tip your hat and then allow us to grow into whatever next stage of development that this becomes, because it's going to take time, right? So first of all, you know, I love these state of the coaches. It allows us to have a long stream of thought and conversation. This was a very, you know, dicey conversation that can go into many different elements. And I don't pretend to be a person that know everything. I don't pretend to be a person that even wants to know everything. I know I'm a learning man, right? And on that journey of learning, I want to fail forward, right? I want to try things that I haven't seen done yet. I want to enter space that I haven't seen enter yet. I want to do the thing that haven't been done yet. So therefore we can get to a place that we never been, right? You kick down doors, we kick down doors, and other people get to walk in that. And everybody else's job is either to complement that, support that, or ignore it. That's it,
For sure.
right?
For sure.